Please begin to take your seats. The program will begin in 5 minutes. And to all our top 30s, please take your designated seat at the front of the theater. The rows are just right at the front over here. Thank you. Just be careful with this thing because it kind of like goes, it's touching in and out. Yeah.
And then, okay, at 2:05 is when I'll do mine.
Okay.
And then after that, because you start, that's when I'll go get them.
Sure.
So if I'm going to do mine at 2:05, that's it. Everyone, can you begin wrapping up conversations and take your seats? We're going to begin in about a minute.
I didn't start because there's just too many
Yeah, I
people
know.
walking in.
And I've got got them waiting there, so. Do you want to do one more reminder just to let them know we're going to start?
Yeah.
No, like you do.
Just say it.
I did that already.
It's okay, they didn't hear you. Trust me.
But,
Just say it again.
I mean, we're going to get started now anyways, so.
Up to you, but I would just say it once more.
Hey everyone, we're going to be getting started here in about a minute. You can start. Okay. I'm going to go double check the water.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this special celebration. On behalf of the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation, we want to extend a warm welcome to the 15th annual Top 30 Under 30 ceremony. My name is Harveen Sani, and I'll be one of your hosts this evening.
Good afternoon, everyone. To all of our guests, including valued community members, honorary guests, current Top 30 awardees, and alumni, and to the family and friends who are here to support them. My name is Benjamin Kucher, and I'm honored to be one of your hosts this afternoon. Harveen and I were both recipients of the Top 30 Under 30 award in 2025, and it is incredibly meaningful today to welcome in the 2026 cohort. We are truly looking forward to celebrating this remarkable group of young leaders and extending our heartfelt congratulations to each of you.
We have an exciting program for you this afternoon, but before we begin, we have some housekeeping points. So we are broadcasting live to those who could not attend the event in person, and we kindly ask that you keep the noise level to a minimum. We also ask that you do not stand in front of the photographer who will be moving around the theater throughout the event. And lastly, washrooms are located just outside the lecture theater on the left side of the building.
As we've mentioned, this year marks a very special milestone for ACGC's Top 30 Under 30 program. In considering how to highlight the 15-year journey, ACGC realized that nothing can happen without first grounding in the space around us. To help us begin, please join me in welcoming our special performers, Northern Cree.
Myogi-sigaw, kita tamskat tanawa, egwaya, enanas kumuyag, en timuyag umuta kapeyag westama, magwayag, aya, nia na neyoak, egu toze ya tepamatuan negutwa seguma, gas egu muteya, na weya egi usita ya ge guan ma asyo ge ya kutaga ga isino waguta ka petak sensik. Good day to you. We are called Northern Cree, and we're thankful to be asked to come here to do opening songs for this gathering. To begin with, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about what you're going to listen to. The opening song that we'll do is with respect to Pamatu and Gutasik, to Treaty 6. In the early days, in 1976, the treaty was signed. And my understanding is that a fellow by the name of late John Tatusis from Poundmaker, Saskatchewan, back in the 50s and 60s was called from another elder from Piapot, Saskatchewan, who was there at the time of the signing of the treaty at Fort Pitt, and he related to Mr. John Tatusis that he had had a dream at that time, and in that dream, a song was sung to him, and he said, "It's your people's treaty song from the signing of the treaty. Come, I would like to relate it to you." And he related to John Tatusis, and that song's always been around with our people. That is the first song that we will sing. The second song is the victory song. Today, we're going to do a little bit of something different. We're going to sing the victory song, but we're going to accompany it with the oldest style of dance within the powwow circle, which originated with the Omaha tribe. It is called the grass dance. And my understanding is that the grass dancers were brought out originally to flatten the ground where any of the gatherings were going to happen, to put down all of the unlevel grass, to level out the ground. But metaphorically speaking, the grass dancer was brought out to cleanse the area of anything that was negative, any negative thoughts, any negative feelings, and to bring positive for any gathering so that the gathering would go in a positive way. Thank you for having us. Kinaskum Tinawa.
Thank you, Northern Cree, for this beautiful opening to our ceremony. We want to take a moment to further acknowledge that the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation is located on Treaty 6 territory in Amisawachi-Waskahigun, otherwise known as Edmonton. These lands are the traditional homelands and a gathering place for many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this land for centuries and continue to do so. Their histories, languages, ceremonies, and cultures, including the Nehiho, Dene, Saulteaux, Nakota, Blackfoot, the Métis, the Inuit, and many more. We remind ourselves that we are all treaty people with roles to play in the righting the historical wrongs that have taken place and are ongoing. Indigenous peoples' connection to the land teaches us about our inherent responsibility to protect and respect Mother Earth, and to recognize that we are all connected to each other. At ACGC, we are committed to honoring the struggles and strengths of Indigenous peoples, and joining us together to work towards truth and reconciliation and decolonization.
I would now like to invite our special guest, Carola Cunningham, to join us on stage to help us commence our ceremony in a good way.
Tanse toya, tawao. O gijigos gueos nitsikasan o chimawakaweg. My GST name is Carola Cunningham. And I said I come from the land of red willow, which is also known as St. Albert. I come with a message from Edmonton Police Commission, because that's what they have on the thing. And I want to say that the last year, the Edmonton Police Commission has done a lot of hard work, and we have been able to interview and hire an amazing young man as the chief of police here in Edmonton. And I think that you will find him to be very proactive, community-minded, and a kind human being. And so we look forward to more work in the following year as the commission. And I encourage all you new leaders to think about joining boards and commissions and such in your future going forward. I'm going to pray, because in our way, even that beautiful dance, those beautiful songs are all part of our prayer. And so I'm going to verbally pray. And the message that I want to send is that honor yourselves, honor your families, honor your communities. And I hope that this setting, this event, this celebration goes along well and in a good way, and nothing goes wrong. There's no right or wrong way to pray. I'll pray the way I understand. You pray the way you wish to pray. That could be Buddha, Allah, Muhammad, Jesus, whatever you believe in. Even atheists believe in the universe, so something bigger than you. And when we all pray together, we send an incredible message out there, and our ancestors listen, and they take pity on us, because we're pitiful, two-legged humans. We tend to forget that we actually were brought as a spirit to experience humanness and to find out how to live mio pimatsuan, a good life. And from here, this body will stay to our Mother Earth, and our spirits will transcend back home. And so we remember that in order to make sure we don't get off track, because we have this big ego, that we pray first. We ask Creator, we ask the ancestors to watch over us and guide our footsteps and keep us humble in the work that we do every day. I also want to extend a congratulations to all you top 30. You know, in our way, we understand when you turn 30, you finally become an adult. And you have to start helping us carry the load and to be part of the community in service, in creating, in doing the hard work that needs to happen in the world. And so I welcome you all to adulthood, and I'm very proud of all of you. I'm a proud mother of a recipient of the top 30. My daughter's going to be 40 pretty quick, so it was quite a while ago that she received this award. And I know how excited she was, so I know you're excited. And congratulations, it's a great honor to have that. And now I'm going to pray. And I ask that you help me pray. Masicho minato, stamota, astamapi, astam kihu, hukuma pesu, Moskwa, pasqua mustus astamota, gotawina, kanawemina, anaskumten. Creator, grandfathers and grandmothers from the four directions, I ask that you come and surround us with that white light. Fill our hearts with golden healing light. Creator, I want to acknowledge all the beautiful gifts you've given us, those deities that give us life. For Pisim, that sun that shines and warms the earth. For Nipi, that water, that life's blood that feeds all living things. For Yutin, that wind, that first breath we took as we exited our mother's womb. The last one that leaves this body as we go back to the spirit world. And for Askia, that blanket that holds all living things on the earth, that holds our flora, our fauna, our medicines, our berries, our vegetables. These are the things I want to acknowledge and thank you, Creator, for without these things, we couldn't sustain life. I also want to acknowledge all our relatives, the four-legged, the winged ones, the crawlers, the swimmers, and the ones that burrow in the earth. And for my two-legged brothers and sisters here today, I ask that you help us walk from a place of kindness, from a place of honesty, and to share that with one another, to build strength and capacity in ourselves, in our families, with our colleagues, and in the world. Creator, I lift up all our people that continue to struggle with houselessness, poverty, addictions, foster care, all those ones that struggle to find meaning to life. And I ask that you wrap your arms around them and keep them safe today. Creator, once again, I want to thank you for this beautiful life, and I ask that you bless everyone here's home fires and keep them burning brightly and their loved ones safe. Hai hai, masicho.
Thank you, Carola, for guiding us into this program. Your words remind us of the importance of grounding ourselves in our work so we may lead with intentionality. I would now like to invite ACGC's Executive Director, Sandra Muchekeza, to join us on stage to share a few words with us.
Thank you, Havin and Benjamin, for that beautiful start to our program this afternoon. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Muchekeza, and I am the Executive Director at ACGC. We are a network of civil society organizations across the province and we're based here in Alberta, in Edmonton. And the organizations that we represent work collectively to advance human rights and sustainable development, both locally and globally. So it's truly an honor to be with you here today. Thank you for coming out on this lovely Saturday afternoon. I do want to begin by first warmly congratulating each of the young leaders being recognized as this year's top 30, under 30. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. So the Top 30 Award recognizes young people who are already making meaningful contributions to their communities and abroad, advancing human rights, strengthening equity, and working towards a more sustainable world. This program celebrates youth whose leadership aligns with UN Sustainable Development Goals and whose work is grounded in collaboration, compassion, and justice. From addressing food security among vulnerable populations in the Global South to improving access to housing, to affordable housing right here in Edmonton, this year's Top 30 represent an extraordinary group of change makers. Their impact is not just theoretical. It is real, it is visible, and it is already being felt. As our hosts mentioned, this year marks a very special milestone for Top 30 Under 30. We are celebrating 15 years of the program, and to date, we have recognized 450 young leaders since 2012. Are there any Top 30s alumni here? I know Aditya is one. If you could raise your hand. Any alumni? Well, we have one representing and the two who are hosting today. So these are, we recognize you for the work that you continue to do to impact the communities and bring positive change. I do want to say that this is a truly full circle moment because the person who envisioned and championed Top 30 Under 30 is here with us today, Heather McPherson. If you could just wave to the crowd. Thank you. Just a round of applause. Many of you may not know this, but before her life in politics, MP Heather McPherson served as ACGC's executive director, where she played a very pivotal role in growing the organization to what it is today. So Heather, thank you for your vision and your leadership because you gave us the foundation to build this program to what it is today. So thank you. Thank you for coming. As the executive director at ACGC, one of the most meaningful parts of my role is seeing how this program continues to grow, not just in numbers, but in depth, in diversity and impact, and how the leadership, courage, and clarity these young people today bring to this space, that remains the most hopeful and inspiring parts of my work. And this year's theme is harnessing the power of connection to create lasting change. And this speaks to something we have witnessed time and time again over the past 15 years, that meaningful change does not happen in isolation. And every one of our top 30s today has a story, a journey that's shaped by relationships and community, mentors, collaborators, and moments of connection that helped guide them to where they are today. So I invite you to look around the room. The youth we celebrate this afternoon are not walking this path alone. Each of you here with them today, whether you're family members or friends or colleagues, mentors, supporters, are part of their story. Your presence reflects the networks of care, encouragement, and the shared purpose that make their work possible. And for that, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As part of this year's program, our top 30 were asked to reflect on the connections that have shaped their work, the people, the communities, and the partnerships that inform their values and their vision for the future. These reflections are featured in their digital profiles on our Top 30 website and across our social media platforms. So I encourage all of you to please take a moment to read not only the profiles of the top 30 that you're here to support today, but all 30. Because each story is very powerful, it is inspiring, and together they remind us that indeed lasting change is built through listening and collaboration and centering the voices of those that are most impacted. This award is generously supported by Global Affairs Canada since its inception and forms part of ACGC's International Development Week programming. So this week has been full of activities, not just in Alberta, but across the country. And I wish to recognize our good friend, Paul, from Global Affairs Canada. Thank you for coming. He is the Deputy Director of the Canadian Public Engagement Programming. Thank you for joining us today after such a long week of engagements. This week also marks the 35th anniversary of IDW, International Development Week, under this theme, the theme of prosperity through partnership. It is a time to recognize how Canadians inspire action, educate and inform, mobilize communities, and celebrate our collective global impact. Each year during IDW, ACGC, alongside our sister councils from coast to coast, collectively called the ICN, or the Intercouncil Network, highlight the contributions that Canadians are making towards building a more just and sustainable world. Through this work, the ICN plays a vital public engagement role year after year, supporting Canadians to better understand their role as global citizens and to take action in support of Canada's international assistance priorities, gender equality, and the Sustainable Development Goals. And just this week, we had some very good news. The Honorable Randeep Sarai, the Secretary of State of International Development, he will be joining us shortly, announced $36 million in funding to the ICN, an investment that will allow us to continue this very important work and extend our reach to more diverse people and communities across Canada. And the good news is that Top 30 will be able to continue for another 5 years. So that's great. So in closing, I do want to leave this with you, that today is a celebration. We celebrate 15 years worth of youth leadership. We celebrate the power of connection. And most importantly, we celebrate the young leaders here today who remind us that change happens when we listen, when we collaborate and act together. These youth are not just shaping the future, they are leading today. And we're immensely proud of each and every one of them. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra, for those thoughtful and grounding words, and for your continued encouragement of youth leadership, especially in increasingly complex and challenging times. Leadership is often sustained not just through policy or programs, but through recognition and solidarity. Sandra is not the only one who extends a heartfelt congratulations. This year, the Right Honourable Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, has addressed a letter to the Top 30 in which he says, "I would like to convey my warmest greetings to everyone attending the 15th Annual Top 30 Under 30 Awards, presented by the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation. This event, being held during International Development Week, offers a wonderful opportunity to honour the remarkable young people in Alberta for their contributions to social justice and sustainable development. I join you in congratulating this year's award recipients for their achievements and in wishing them continued success. I would also like to thank ACGC for hosting this event and for encouraging young people to be informed and engaged global citizens. I wish you all a memorable afternoon."
This letter from the Right Honourable Mark Carney is indeed a valuable addition to a memorable afternoon. We extend our sincere thanks to the Prime Minister for this recognition of this milestone and all of our amazing top 30s. As Sandra mentioned earlier, we're also honored today to welcome someone who has played a truly formative role in ACGC's history, which includes launching the Top 30 program all the way back in 2012. Serving as ACGC's Executive Director from 2008 all the way to 2019, and now a Member of Parliament, she continues to advocate for social justice and development work at the provincial, federal, and global level. So please join me in welcoming the Member of Parliament for Edmonton Strathcona, the Honourable Heather McPherson.
Well, hello everyone. This is so wonderful to be here. What a special afternoon. My name is Heather McPherson. I'm the Member of Parliament for Edmonton Strathcona, and as you've heard, I was the Executive Director of the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation for 11 years. And it was during that time that we came up with the idea of the Top 30 Under 30. And I have to say, at the moment that we did that, the reason we brought that publication forward, the reason we brought that award forward, is because we felt that the world, at that moment in time, there was less public engagement happening around the country. You know, young people were increasingly not being engaged in global citizenship. They increasingly weren't being, we didn't have those programs that we had previously. There was some cuts to public engagement, there was cuts to programming that was happening at the universities. All of a sudden, young people that had worked for organizations like Canada World Youth or Katimavik or other groups, Oxfam, that worked across the country that brought young people together, many of those programs lost their funding, and it became much more isolated across the country. And so for us, we thought, well, what's a way that we can bring young people together? We can celebrate the incredible achievements that young people in our community make. And that's how the Top 30 Under 30 award was born. That's where that came from. And as I was preparing to come here today, I was reflecting on the idea that now, at this moment in time where our sovereignty is under threat, both from within and without, at a moment in time where the world feels very, very dangerous, where there is a degradation of the international rules-based order, there is a degradation of peace building and peacekeeping across the world. We see genocides and conflicts continuing to rage. I think now more than ever we need to celebrate the people in our community, the leaders within our community who are moving us in the right direction, who are doing the important work of building a more sustainable, a more just, a more peaceful world for everyone. And so I am so honored to be able to stand and speak to those of you who have been selected as the Top 30 Under 30 recipients this year. You are the leaders this world needs right now. You are the leaders that we need as we face some real challenges right now. And I'm always so inspired, and I'm so honored to know that there are people like you that are doing this important work. So thank you. I also want to take a moment to thank all of the parents, all of the family members, all of the people who supported these amazing young people. Because as a politician, I mean, we all know none of us get here by ourselves. None of us do this alone. We do this with the support of our community, with the support of our family, with the support of our loved ones. So I want to thank everyone that helped these young people get here. And speak of the devil. And I also would like to thank the Government of Canada, hello, Minister, the Government of Canada for supporting this program for so many years. It's vital that we support public engagement across this country. You know, that the Canadians are talking about what it means to be a global citizen, what it means to play a meaningful role in the world. And so I am grateful to the Government of Canada for funding this program. I'm so pleased that I can be here. This warms my heart To think that the program that we put in place 15 years ago is still going, to know that it will go into the future, means a great deal to me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Heather, for sharing this message with our top 30 guests. Having you join us today really emphasized the legacy of the Top 30 program and the importance of maintaining momentum in order to create lasting change.
As some of our speakers have mentioned, the Top 30 Under 30 network consists of over 450 individuals who have been recognized for their leadership work in Alberta since 2012. ACGC is truly grateful for this group of dedicated people who never fail to find opportunities to remain engaged in our work and support future generations of young leaders. As in the past, Top 30 alumni enthusiastically responded to our call to feature them and the work that they continue to be involved in. We hope you will enjoy this next video of some of our Top 30 alumni and resonate with their message to you all.
Hey, my name is Aditya Chaudhary. Many of you know me as Addy.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Bejarano.
Hi, my name is Vandet Tim from Cambodia.
Hi, my name is Farah Camaria.
Hi, my name is Kenny Okuola.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Basai. My name is Trinity Kotikil Pudi.
Hi, my name is Taryn Myers.
Hello, my name is Trent Daly. I'm a Top 30 Under 30 from 2022.
I think it was kind of like a turning point because it was some sort of recognition of the fact that the work that we were doing really mattered.
Being a part of ACGC set the foundation for how I thought about global development, cooperation, and how the world has continued to grow and evolve.
It really realized a strong vote of confidence in the work that I was doing. We built Cambodian bridge in science and text.
When I was selected, it meant validation of mental health, validation of my work in Ecuador, but also in Canada.
It's opened doors to new opportunities, to new connections, and my organization has grown in ways that I would have never imagined.
ACGC has been really impactful for us in terms of helping us to expand our global influence. One of the ways that we've been able to do so has been through our national internship initiative called Sharpen the Quill that me and Peter both founded. Being recognized as a top 30 not only validated my work, but proved to me that there was incredible other work being done in the province as well.
Being part of this program has been inspirational. To be part of a network of professionals globally who are making incredible change in the world.
It made me feel seen. It validated the work that I'd been doing. But for me, it was a wonderful opportunity, and I didn't want to waste it either. I wanted to use that opportunity to help uplift other young Albertans. And for me, that's kind of the spirit of the award.
So definitely it's shaped my journey in ways more than I can imagine.
I want this network to live empowerment to youth, to every single person that has won the award, to every single person that's going to win this award, but to every youth that they understand that they matter, their voice matters, and that their mental health matters.
To work in a way where we can kind of collaborate and honor the most important pieces to people's goals and how they want to get there, I think is really important.
How do we help others to do what we're doing? How do we pass the torch?
Learn to share, learn to adapt, and learn how to know where we began, and never stop learning to share.
Keep doing what you're doing, keep getting better at it, and keep making the world a better place.
This is not the end, just the beginning of a beautiful new journey, and I hope that each one of you continue doing the impactful work that you're doing in your communities.
You are young, and this is only the tip of the iceberg, I promise you. Many more heights await your summit, many more achievements await your accomplishment, and many more accolades await your name. So on behalf of all the classes of Top 30 before you, welcome to the club.
This snapshot of ACGC's top 30 alumni network not only hints at the scale of their achievements, but also speaks to the possibilities that continue to unfold when young people are supported, connected, and trusted to lead, both here at home and globally. In recognition of the Top 30 Under 30 15th anniversary milestone, and in reflecting on the program theme this year, ACGC decided to engage in a deeper exploration of some of the youth leadership work being spearheaded from Alberta. Through this next panel segment, we will hear directly from current and former top 30s about the necessity for connection in developmental work and how they have and continue to realize connection in their own unique ways.
Moderating this panel session is Aditya Chaudhry from the 2019 Top 30 cohort. Aditya, lovingly known as Addy, is an engineer transforming the public sector to help the world access Canadian services online. He also leads the Calgary Professional Chapter of Engineers Without Borders Canada and serves on the board of directors for the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation. He also serves on several other nonprofit organizations where his work contributes to building a better Calgary and Alberta and helps Canada become a leader in global citizenship. Addy will be joined by my friend Daryl Kootenay, who's also from the 2019 cohort. Daryl Kootenay is a traditional singer, dancer, artist, and facilitator from the Stoney Nakoda Nation of Treaty 7 in southern Alberta, and a member of the Dene Nation in New Mexico from his father's lineage. After graduating high school, Daryl began volunteering internationally through Canada World Youth, working in cross-cultural, community-based programs in Africa, Peru, and Nicaragua. He has since served as a delegate at the World Conference of Indigenous Peoples and the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. He continues to work with intergenerational Indigenous leaders, activists, and researchers to support meaningful participation at the UN and advocate for Indigenous rights globally. Daryl is also deeply engaged in his community of Minitni, formerly Morley, Alberta, where he has led youth programs and co-founded Stoney Nakoda Youth Council. His work today includes roles as the co-convener of the Minkiwakan, did I get that right? Cool. World Indigenous Peoples Summit, and the co-owner of Bald Eagle Consultation, a faculty member at the Banff Center for Indigenous Leadership, and a 2025 Indigenous Fellow with the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in Geneva.
Dr. Navishia Case from the 2023 cohort will also be joining us today. Dr. Navishia Case is the inaugural manager of Black Health, Innovation, and Advancement within the Health Equity and Systems Transformation portfolio at the Cummings School of Medicine at the University of Calgary. Her postdoctoral experience is in health law at the University of Alberta, with her PhD research in psychiatry at McGill University and a Master's of Science in Medical Science with a focus on clinical neurosciences at the University of Calgary. Dr. Case serves as a board member for the Howell Experience and was a 2025 Results Canada Fellow, among several other community engagement. In recognition of her commitment to global health equity through her career and service, Dr. Case is a recipient of the Peaks Emerging Leaders of 2024 in Healthcare in Canada. Finally, representing the 2026 Top 30 cohort, we're pleased to welcome Nazifia Rahman. Nazifia is a sustainable procurement professional and autism advocate. Based in Calgary, she works at the intersection of sustainability, energy, and supply chains as sustainability manager at ETCH Sourcing, where she supports organizations in embedding sustainability in procurement and operational decision-making. She is currently pursuing a Master's of Science in Sustainable Energy department at the University of Calgary, with her research focusing on advancing an affordable, equitable, and scalable clean energy transition. Through her professional leadership, applied research, and community advocacy, Nazifia brings a systems-level approach to climate action that bridges ambition with real-world implementation and champions inclusive pathways into the energy transition. So please, everyone, join me in giving all our panelists a big round of applause.
Can we just get that mic turned on, please? Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing? There we go. That's the energy. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Our hosts, as they told you, my name is Aditya. I also go by Adi, and what a privilege and honor it is to be the moderator and sit amongst just the legacy that is the top 30 under 30 list. The panel's name today, as you can see, is the Future of Connect. Oh, no, that's not the name. The name is 15 Years of Connection, Youth Leadership Across Generations. And I want to tell you that that name is very, very intentional because youth leadership blossoms through relationships across generations, across disciplines and community, locally and globally. You've heard an amazing introduction of our panelists, and I will also urge you to go online and, like Sandra said, check out their profiles, and you will learn so much more about them. But I'm going to dive right into where our focus for today is going to be. We're going to start with understanding and getting their perspectives on how young leaders sustain momentum beyond their moments of recognition. We're going to learn what responsibilities come with this leadership, especially when communities are directly impacted by their work. And then we'll also learn a little bit more about what does ethical collaboration actually look like in practice, not just in theory. And I really, really encourage you, if you hear something that resonates with you, cheer, clap, let them know that you're here. And please, please, I know it goes without saying, be a very, very active listener. And panelists, I have a very special job for you. Because time is of the essence, I'm going to ask you to keep your responses to its allotted times, and that way we'll be on time and we'll get an opportunity, all of us, to hear your thoughts, your perspectives, and a little bit more about the amazing things that make you truly, truly deserving of this list. Does that sound good, audience? Does that sound good, panelists?
Sounds good.
Perfect. And I just want to make sure our mics are working before I ask. Okay, maybe we'll share the mic. This one I'm going to ask you to keep your responses to within 2 minutes, please. It's what I started with, by saying. Recognition is often just the starting point, not the finish line. How have you sustained momentum in your leadership after being named a top 30? And I'm going to actually ask Daryl to start this because we'll go in chronological order.
Ambo athich tagun chawa ta tankawa gichiwa cha toganak itancha me gibi. I won't translate what that says because of our time constraint, but for me, one of the best ways that I've been able to gain momentum is just being able to step into the award and the title. I think traditionally we're taught not to share your achievements as an Indigenous person or as any person. You feel like this is great. You have an award. What do I do with it? And to me, I think one of the best things to do is to take advantage of it, to spread the word, and don't be shy to say that you're a recipient of the top 30 of the ACGC award. I think that the global community sounds very large, but it's also very small. And so that idea to take advantage of it goes a long way. In some spaces, maybe not, but in others, it does. And that's when you will find those spaces that people will want to hear your story invest more time and opportunity into you. And so to me, that's been one of the ways that I've been able to step into it is by utilizing that recognition more, which was a bit challenging because it's not clear. And it really is up to you how to do that. So I think for me, that's one of the best things about this award is there really isn't any global recognition of its kind for young people out there. And so for this award, being able to share with your community, your network, your allies, that this is an award that you've received and you explain the description and what it means, it speaks a little bit to who you are and the work that you're passionate about. And so it really is a type of gateway, an opportunity to step and introduce more of the concepts that you're very passionate about and to keep doing that. So I'll stop there.
Sustaining momentum after being named top 30. I had a lot to say here, but being constrained to 2 minutes, please cut me off when needed. But so I think when you get accolades and your accomplishments are recognized, you're on a high, and it really fires you up to continue doing the work that you're doing. And sometimes it's seeing the impact of the work that you do as well. That's really what drives you, and it pushes the work forward and you're motivated. Then other times come when you're feeling demotivated. You're not seeing the effects of the work that you're doing in the way that you wanted to have seen. And it can be demoralizing, and you can just feel like quitting altogether. But those are the times where, to sustain momentum, instead of putting that energy outward, sometimes we need to go inward into community and return to the communities that we're from, where we receive our energy and our guidance from, and just to get that sustenance and that strength to actually be stronger and go back out there and continue the good work that we're all doing. So I think that's a way that has been important for me to sustain momentum in the work that I do. Sometimes it's a downer, to be completely honest, in community work, social justice, but really leaning on the people that we're doing the work with is so key. And I think that that's reflected in the theme of tonight as well, in being connection.
Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. What a beautiful question. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for trusting me to represent this incredible 2026 cohort, because you guys all deserve to be here on this stage right now. So a round of applause to all of you. As I embark in this journey for the 2026 cohort, I think one of the key pieces that really spoke to me on continuing the momentum is that, when the work is bigger than you continue to do it passionately because you're opening doors for those who aren't always able to be at the table or aren't always given the opportunity to be at the table. And so I hope with this opportunity and recognition, even if the spotlight goes away, it doesn't really matter because the work is more important. And for me, I hope to use this platform to scale and deepen my work in clean, affordable, renewable energy, as well as sustainable supply chains, and really make sure the community voices are heard at the table. So thank you again for this opportunity, and I'm excited to chat with my seniors on the panel here today.
Amazing, amazing. I have some individual questions for you, and I'm going to start with you, Daryl. You, for example, have worked locally. You have co-founded the Stony Nakoda Youth Council, if I were to bring up an example out of the blue, amongst many things, but you've also done work all the way at that global level, like volunteering on other continents, like Africa and South America, and you've even represented your community, your nation at the UN. So when you move between community-based work and global advocacy spaces, how do you make sure that the leadership and priorities of the communities that you come from, they remain centered?
Yeah, I think to me it's really simple. The whole reason why I do what I do is rooted in my traditional values and beliefs. The whole strength that I got to leave home to travel international and to be in foreign spaces and have to learn different languages where English wasn't spoken, I was leaning a lot on my identity and culture. And that's rooted in family and in community. And all the things that I've done, I knew in the back of my head that this needs to be shared and I need to bring it back home to community. And so for me, that's always been a foundation for whatever it is that I do still to this day. And so it is a really big gap, though, when you look at local and international. It's probably the biggest gap that you can try and bridge in the work because I really like this saying that was taught to me when I was in New York City in the UN headquarters. By the way, for Indigenous peoples, it's not in the General Assembly, it's in the coffee shop in the basement where you're gonna meet all the really strong matriarchs and patriarchs in the room. And I was sitting with some older leaders and they were discussing Indigenous rights. And one of the best things that I always share when I get a chance is Anthony Gonzalez, who was a part of the American Indian movement that led the Alcatraz occupation in the 70s. I was sitting with him and he said, you know, it's really good to do this work, but he said it's also important not to become a floater. And when he said a floater, he said when you come into the global work and you start to do, you know, that work that's out of your community, it's easy to stay in that space. It's easy to float from space to space. And he said it's really important though that you come back down to your community and you make sure that you make those connections, keep those connections strong. So for me, that's been a big part of it. And so for me, that's ceremony, being with family, as an artist, dancer, still being present in those spaces. Like tonight, I got to rush home for a round dance in my community. So community is really important. They got to see you if they want to see themselves globally.
Wow. I think we're all very, very indebted to you for that piece of advice, because as the, you know, climb to fame, if I may call it that, happens, it's very important not to become a floater. So thank you for that reminder. Visha, I have a very specific question for you too. Your work in health equity has taken you from community-engaged research to institutional leadership. I mean, you are literally the inaugural manager of Black Health Innovation and Advancement at the University of Calgary. Incredible. As a young leader who works inside systems that weren't built with equity in mind, what does ethical collaboration look like when you're trying to change those systems from the within? Do we want to share those two and we'll share these? Okay.
All right, it's a heavy question and an important question. So one of the core values I have that really centers a lot of the work that I do is servant leadership. And I truly believe that the higher you go in any leadership position is the more of a responsibility that you have to your community and to people who are marginalized and may not have the same opportunities for representation that you do. And so in the work that I do, it's a leadership position within the Cummings School of Medicine, and it's focused specifically on Black health. And so what that has looked like in my role is I'm actually connecting with community a lot more than I did before this role, ironically. But a huge piece of work that I've done over the past few months is community engagement. So going out and meeting with Black communities and hearing their stories and experiences with the healthcare system in Calgary and in Canada. And through hearing those stories, it taught me a lot. Before that, I was only leading on my own experiences. I've had my own experiences with the healthcare system, but I'm only one data point. And so being able to hear the stories of other people in various Black communities coming from a variety of different backgrounds and different ages as well is really humbling to understand what those realities look like. A part of it that is really important in terms of, what was it, ethical leadership or? Ethical collaboration. Ethical collaboration, yes. So making sure that the ground is fertile for change is important as well within a system. And so when I joined the Cummings School of Medicine, there had already been done some work by previous Black faculty and students in terms of setting that groundwork and actually putting into the strategic plan for the first time in 2023, Black health as a priority area. And so having that publicly mentioned as a priority area for the Faculty of Medicine gives me the opportunity to then go out into communities and hear what they're saying and then bring it back to the faculty. Historically, this has been quite problematic because research, medical research, healthcare, these areas have been notorious for extracting data from people and from marginalized communities and not letting them see the benefits of what they share. And so a big responsibility of mine in this position is to ensure that people are able to see the benefits of that work. And to me, that's ethical collaboration.
You remind me of the very famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." But oh, what a responsibility we must take, even before that great power comes. So thank you for that reminder. You are our 2026 Top 30. You are being recognized at a time when youth leadership is often expected to respond to many, many and overlapping crises, from climate and energy transitions to equity and inclusion challenges, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. And your specific work spans sustainable procurement, energy systems, and creating spaces for meaningful connection across the sectors. So with all of this in mind, what responsibilities do you feel most strongly as a youth leader right now? And how do you navigate these complex and intersecting challenges?
That's a really hard question, and you can only imagine the pressure you feel from that question. I think one of the pieces that I really reflect on with my work is questioning the systems that were already in place and really understanding how the systems have been put into place and challenging it and doing it boldly. A lot of the systems that have been put into place can, if projects are only one person's passion project, it shouldn't be reflected on one political cycle or one person in the room. That creates fragility on the core problems that we're trying to address. And I think to your question of what is the responsibility that we hold here is to question our systems and really build those systems that work together for and so much of what we've seen in our societies are that systems have been built by a few that are supposed to reflect the many, but so much of my work is talking to our community and finding and building those systems that integrate, decision makers, knowledge keepers, and being able to put in policies and frameworks that really reflect all of us. So.
Wow. You remind me of this one moment when I was walking through campus and I saw a sign and it was meant to really invoke further studies and research, and it says, "Great change always started with a question." And that reminds me of in the workplace, an old manager had said, if the reason for something the way it is, well, that's always been the way, it's not good enough. So amazing, amazing responses, and I really, really appreciate, and I think you will all too, that even though they had their own individual questions, the theme could not be more consistent in all of their answers, and I think that is just the cohort that is the top 30 under 30. Now, we have time for one last quick question, but before that, I want to ask the audience for a quick engagement piece, and this is to see where we're all at. So the three themes that we've talked about is sustaining momentum, building across ethical collaborations, and we're going to also really quickly chat about leading across multiple communities. But these three thematic areas, you all work in really, really important sectors. Where are you feeling the most amount of challenge? So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand when I say the name, and then we're just going to see where the audience sits. So, are you feeling most challenging when you're trying to sustain momentum? How about building ethical collaboration? Is that where you're feeling the most? Okay, I see some. And what about leading across multiple communities? Ooh. Okay, and we even have some participation here. So something to really think about, especially as we ask questions and try to change that status quo, that this is where the heart of some of our problems lie. Now, really quickly, I'm going to ask you one last question. Looking ahead, how can Alberta's youth lead through connection, both locally and globally, in a way that truly centers communities impacted by their work? And Daryl, won't you start us off?
I think for me, there's a group of people out there, and I think we definitely have those in the room who know how to engage authentically, transparently, honestly, and courageously. But on the journey of applying the work in your sectors, you get challenged on those fronts, and you might lose those values because policy or certain processes or mechanisms. But there's a group of people who are really smart, and I know you guys are amongst them, and you're the next wave of those smart individuals who will come together, and I think that's key, coming together. And for me, as an Indigenous person, that's something I just want to put a plug out there. As a group of young people who I know who engage the most authentically are creating this organization called All My Relations International.org, which is to bring people together, young people, especially Indigenous, because there's really no one out there to provide that guidance on how to engage through these different sectors in that way. And so to me, that's really, really important. And again, that process to me is really important because you could really tell. And I think you're all in this room because you have, we say a chande, a heart. And that heart is so powerful. And when you lead from it, and that's what I didn't translate is my name is Wacha Toganaki Ipancha, the one that leads with his heart. And I ask you all to do the same every step of the way when you move forward. That's what brings communities together on different levels. So I'll stop there.
I think as young people, when we're young, sometimes it's very easy to believe that we don't have an impact on the world or to know how to make a change in an area that we're passionate about. And so going forward from this, you're all talented individuals, and some of you are community organizers. Many of you are. I was reading some of your bios and your profiles and stories, and some of you are writers, some of you are artists, some of you know how to just really engage a room and you're fiery, and others of you are more moderators, peacemakers. You all have gifts that you bring, and finding a way to make that known to the world is important as you go forward. So whether that is through connecting with your other top 30 alumni that are here today, whether that is starting a student club or your own alumni network, tapping into those global connections. Whatever you do, stay in community, and that will be your path forward, just listening to what community says.
I think in Alberta, us young people are in such a unique intersection of energy, innovation, and a huge community who's passionate and truly cares for one another, and one that all wants essentially the same thing. And so when we take that as our foundations of commonality, I think one of the key pieces that really come to mind for this is really, sorry, remind me the question one more time.
Just looking ahead, how can our youth lead through connection?
Yeah.
So you were on the right track.
I was on the right track
Continue.
and I trailed off. Yeah, so I think we're in a very unique intersection of all of these areas that we have impact. I think the key piece, and clearly my cohort and the cohorts before me are engaged. Stay engaged. You are the future that makes our policies, makes the frameworks that run our societies and our systems. So you don't have to be the loudest person in the room, but you do have to have engagement within your communities. So speak to one another and understand where each of you come from, and so you can always find that common ground to build systems that work for you.
Amazing. So there you have it, folks. From 2019 all the way to 2026, and for many, many years in the future, thank you for listening to just a few perspectives. And please continue this conversation when you meet our panelists, our cohorts, and other alum. Thank you, and I'm going to pass the mic back to our hosts.
Well, I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I found that conversation to be very grounding and energizing, especially as we face growing complexity in development work, leadership, and community care more broadly. Conversations like these matter. Spaces where people can reflect honestly on challenges, share lessons, and imagine a better path forward. So thank you again to all of our speakers for your generosity, insight, and care.
As you can all see, our network of top 30s is truly a remarkable group of people whose work extends from Alberta across Canada and the globe. Despite their individual passions, these young leaders continue to center community and collaboration at the heart of all that they do, recognizing that real, impactful change can only happen with intentional partnerships. One such individual from the top 30 2020 cohort is joining us here today in person, traveling all the way from New York City to share his experiences and insights. Khalid Rashi is an award-winning social entrepreneur and founder and CEO of OGOW Health, an award-winning digital health organization that's advancing maternal, child, and nutrition outcomes through inclusive, human-centered innovation. His commitment to reimagining health systems is rooted in personal experience. After supporting his grandmother navigating a complex health system during his first visit to Somalia, Khalid was inspired to create solutions that bridge critical gaps in healthcare. Today, OGOW Health's digital platforms empower caregivers, frontline health workers, and public institutions to strengthen primary care and nutrition services in underserved and humanitarian settings. The organization has supported more than 1,000 maternal health facilities and has facilitated over 1 million health and nutrition service interactions. Wow. OGOW Health's innovative solutions has been adopted and implemented at scale by ministries of health and leading international organizations, including UNICEF, Action Against Hunger, Save the Children, and World Vision. Khalid's transformative work has earned international recognition. He was named a 2025 Obama Scholar at Columbia University. He's a finalist for the Global Citizen Prize, the Leadership Award, and honored as Muslims Achieving Excellence Social Entrepreneur of the Year for 2023. He is also a South Park Commons Social Impact Fellow and has accepted into the Google for Startup Sustainable Development Program and is the IDEO Fellowships. So please join me in giving Khaled a very warm welcome on the stage.
Thank you so much for that wonderful bio. Thank you, Sandra and the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation team for having me here today. It's an honor to share space with you all, and once again, congratulations to the top 30 under 30 of 2026. Another round of applause for you all. 6 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you're sitting today. I was a class of 2020, and I was 29 years old. I had already been running a Go Health now for about a few years. We had a very scrappy, lean team, and we had a little bit of traction, and we really believed that we were building something that could be sustainable at scale. But I was still figuring out how to take it further, how to take something that was working in one facility into supporting millions today, and in some of the most rural, hard-to-reach communities. And that's a different type of challenge. Today, 9 years later, I'm proud to say our organization is supporting over 1,000 maternal and child facilities, working with partners across Somalia and Global Affairs Canada, thanks so much for the generous contributions, to ensure that our organization could be sustainable. As you heard today, governments are extremely important in that collaboration to ensure that our work could be sustained. And working with partners like World Vision, Action Against Hunger, and UNICEF to ensure that we're able to use our footprint to improve the lives of more people. And I'm going to explain to you how this journey evolved. It was through connection. It was through people who showed up when it mattered. It was through relationships that compounded over time into something that I could have never built alone. But that first connection, the one that started everything, came well before I had a team or a strategy or even a name of what I was trying to build. I know for many of you, you have similar moments like this, the encounter you can't see and that problem that keeps you up at night. For me, that happened to be when I visited my grandmother in Somalia for the first time. I have never got the opportunity to meet any of my grandparents up until then, and this was the only living grandparents that I'd have the opportunity to meet. I watched her try to navigate a broken health system that was not designed for her. That moment changed everything for me. It set me on a path that I couldn't have predicted. One that led to Go Health today and to standing in front of you in this moment. And in that moment in the clinic, I felt two emotions. One, of course, was anger and frustration as to what I was experiencing, and clarity that I knew I had to do something about it. When I first started Go Health, I didn't have any investors, I didn't have a grant, and I didn't have a network of donors waiting to write a check. But what I did have was GoFundMe and an Instagram account. And I certainly know how to use both. And I asked everybody I knew to chip in. I talked to my local doctor in Edmonton, and I explained what I was trying to build, and asked if he would support. And in that very moment, he did and donated. I went to my former Tim Hortons operator, the guy I used to work for since the age of like 14, and I asked him about Go Health and why it mattered to me, and they donated. I spoke to a dear friend of mine, Ahmed Ali, and a lot of you may know him as Ahmed Nomadic. He was also a cohort member of the Top 30 2014 class. And that was the first big donation I got in that moment. And that's the thing about community. The people who come before you in this program, they pay attention. And when they see you making moves, they show up. We sold $10 pins within our local community, and we raised just enough money to pilot at 2 maternal and child health facilities in Somalia. And here's what I learned. When people see you making moves, they want to be a part of that story. They don't need you to have it all figured out. They don't need to know that if you have a master strategy, all they need to know is that you're serious, that you're committed, and that you are not going to quit. The money from those early supporters, it wasn't just capital. It was a belief, and that belief carried us forward in moments when nothing else made sense. The other thing we did early on was build bridges. We set up an advisory board in Somalia, one here in Canada. We connected doctors, public health experts, and community leaders across 2 continents. We leveraged the power of our diaspora. You see, the Somali diaspora here in Canada is millions strong. Many have access to networks, connections, expertise across technology and developments. And what they're waiting for is to meet their counterparts across continents. And they wanted a clear infrastructure or process for them to contribute to their communities back home, and Go Health became that gap. And when people saw that we were serious about connecting these worlds, about building something that just wasn't charity, but was infrastructure and development, they started to join. And it was not because we recruited them, it was because they wanted to be a part of something meaningful. And that's when the momentum shifted. We got an intern from MIT, another from McMaster University. One of those internships turned into our first full-time hire. None of this would have happened because of a grand master plan. It happened because we kept showing up. We kept making connections, and we kept saying yes to opportunities, even if we weren't sure we were ready. And this community, the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation, someone in this network nominated me for the top 30 in 2020. That recognition gave me credibility when I was still a young founder, trying to convince everybody to take me seriously. And at that point, I registered for a newsletter by the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation. I saw an email that came in from the executive director. It was about FIT, the Fund for Innovation and Transformation, a Global Affairs Canada fund for small to medium organizations doing international development work. I almost didn't apply because I thought we were too small, but I did, and we got it. And that funding allowed us to build our capacity, to build our teams on the ground in Somalia and here in Canada. It allowed us to have capacity to run rigorous pilots that now are supporting millions of mothers and children with improved access to healthcare. Then I took it up a notch. I applied for the Covalence Network Leadership Retreat, and initially I thought, what am I going to be doing in Banff for a week? I am in Somalia. But thank God I went to that networking opportunity because I met a strategic partner there that has been funding our work for 3 years. It was the International Development and Relief Foundation, IDRF. We met over lunch, we had a conversation, I explained the work we were doing. We had dozens of conversations, a lot of travel between Edmonton and Toronto, and I'm so proud today that they are a strategic partner of our work in helping us advance our mission. Now that foundation, the FIT, the IDRF, this network, it helped also further our position to Grand Challenges Canada, our Transition to Scale Fund, which we are a proud recipient of this year and actually running active pilots today and a training that's coming up next week, which I'm very, very proud of. All of these opportunities didn't happen because one single thing. that changed everything. The point is that staying engaged, showing up, signing up, and applying even when you are not sure creates possibilities that you cannot predict. But the real opportunity here is in each other. Look around this room today. You've got people working on climate education in East Africa, Indigenous reconciliation right here in Alberta, soccer programs for refugee kids and children with disabilities, and global health systems in Tanzania and Sudan. Totally different sectors, but all of you are building bridges. And you are all going through the same thing, the grind, the doubt, the moments when you wonder if anyone is paying attention. The person sitting next to you might be the person that introduced you to your next collaborator or your next funder, or connect you to someone that may change the path of your course of your work. Or most importantly, just picks up the phone when you need someone to call. But only if you stay connected. Exchange numbers tonight. Start a group chat. Meet quarterly. Share your wins and your struggles amongst yourselves. This recognition matters. And I encourage you all to update your LinkedIn accounts, like, you know where the header is on your name? I've done it right after I got this award. It goes a long way. But it's the relationships amongst the 29 of you. The people standing beside you today is what will carry you to your next phase. Do not let this be the last time you guys are in the same room. The Alberta Council for Global Cooperation community, the networks in this room, the alumni who came before you, they are only as valuable as you make them. So here's my challenge. Sign up for that newsletter. I keep talking about the newsletter, guys, because it really did a lot of good stuff with our work. Go to the networking events, not because you need something today, but because of the relationships compound over time. Stay engaged in community. This is a web of people who genuinely care about you succeeding. And I'd encourage you also to read about not just your cohort, but the many cohorts that came before you and find intersections between your work and the different sectors that you represent. And when opportunities come, apply, even when you are not ready, especially when you are not ready. And let me leave you with this today. What you are receiving is not an ending. In fact, today's really day one of being part of this amazing community that I'm so proud to be a part of. It's an invitation to connect, to stay connected with each other, with us, with your community. The problems out there are real, we all feel it, they are big, and I know sometimes we may feel too small to make a dent. We are not. You are exactly where you need to be, and you have more power and leverage than you'll ever know. I'm proud of you, this community is proud of you, and continue to do great things. Thank you so much.
Khaled, that was a truly an inspiring speech. It's really amazing to hear and see the strides you've made since 2020. We wish you continued success in the future, and thank you and all the top 30 alumni for sharing the important milestone with us today.
We would now like to extend a warm welcome to a special guest, Councillor Aaron Paquette, attending on behalf of Edmonton Mayor Andrew Knack. Please join us on stage to share a message.
Well, hello. The trick is to get up here before the applause ends. So you got to hustle. Now, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure to join you as we celebrate the 2026 Top 30 Under 30 Awards and mark the 15th anniversary of recognizing young Albertans who are making a real difference in the world. And congratulations to the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation on this milestone. For a decade and a half, you have created space to recognize leadership in global citizenship, collaboration, and care for others. This year's theme, Harnessing the Power of Connection, feels especially meaningful right now. Connection is what turns individual effort into collective progress. It links communities across borders, generations, and cultures. And congratulations to this year's Top 30 Under 30 recipients. Well done. Your work reflects the spirit of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and it is an honor to help recognize you on behalf of the City of Edmonton and our Mayor, Andrew Knack. Whether you are advancing climate action, strengthening communities, supporting education, or advocating for equity, your actions help build a better city and a better world for everyone. And achieving these global goals matters here at home. They support the health of our neighborhoods, the strength of our economy, the well-being of the people who live, work, and play in Edmonton. You young leaders bring global thinking to local action. Our city becomes more resilient because of your efforts. And it reflects the City of Edmonton's commitment to fostering a safer, more equitable, and more sustainable city for all. And on a personal note, I want to thank you all for being such bright stars and leaders. I happen to have my 10-year-old son with me here today, and I know that you represent an inspiration for him. But let's be honest about why these connections and why this work is so vital. We're living in a time of profound consequence. When we look at the world today, we don't just see challenges, we see fractures. Sometimes these fractures are through negligence, sometimes through pressures that can feel seemingly overwhelming or out of control, and sometimes through intention, pushed by those who would find benefit in the breaking of our connectedness, in the breaking of our communities, who work in the exact opposition to your efforts for the exact opposite goals. We see a climate in crisis. We see global and regional and societal instability, and we see people feeling more isolated and uncertain about the future than perhaps ever before. These can feel like very dark times. It's easy to look at the state of things and feel cynical, and indeed that is what a lot of people do in order to protect themselves from the pain and fear that they encounter, or to feel that the problems are too big for any one person to solve, and they are too big for any one person to solve. But I believe that is exactly in that dark that we need the most light. And looking at the 30 individuals who we are honoring today, I see that light. I see that courage. The potential in this room isn't just about career success or ambition, although that is a part of it, but it's about a deep and necessary resilience and capacity. You are the people who have looked at the world as it is, with all its flaws and fears, and decided you had a role. No one can make you believe that you have a role. You have to feel it. You have to constantly rediscover it until you know it. Again and again, you step up. You take the good of your community, the beauty of your community, the strength of your community, and the potential of your community to heart. and into your hands. You have decided to engage. You have decided to build, and you have chosen to create a world as it should be, as it can be, and through your efforts as it will be. That's the bright future, and I'm looking at it right now. And so, again, I want to thank the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation for continuing to recognize and amplify the work of these future and present leaders. Congratulations on 15 years, and to the honorees here tonight, your compassion, your commitment, and your connection to Alberta and the world give us confidence in what lies ahead. Keep going. There will be obstacles in your way. Keep going. Use those obstacles to build your strength, to refine your message, to sharpen your intention. Keep going. The world needs you now more than ever. And I believe that you are the innovators, you are the connectors, and the visionaries that we need. The work and your amazing lives are ahead of you, and I can't wait to see the world you forge in cooperation. Stronger, together, and unstoppable. Thank you. Hi, hi.
Thank you, Councillor, for being here with us today and for showing such clear support for the young leaders of this province. Your words are deeply encouraging to both current and former top 30s as we continue our work ahead. On that note, we are now excited to turn our attention to this year's top 30 under 30s. In the next video, you will learn a little bit more about who they are, what drives them as leaders and collaborators.
Hi, my name is Ahmed Baker.
My name is Areem.
My name is Naomi Bakana.
Hello, my name is Nyasha Puta.
My name is Amin Alizada.
Hi, my name is Jean-Bruce Kaur.
My name is Aubriana Snow.
Hi, my name is Kamran Shakur.
My name is Josh Farhan.
I'm Sophia Young.
Hi, I'm Prosper.
My name is Kiza Harani.
My name is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Vidi.
Hi, my name is Nazbar Rahman.
Hi, my name is Tia Marshan.
My name is Ren Anlim.
My name is Rochelle Mashin Deloria.
Connection means taking action even when it's inconvenient, because trust is built in the moments when no one is watching. Connection turns strangers into allies and ideas into action.
Connection means reducing the amount of inequalities in your community so that people can come together and make change.
Change doesn't happen in isolation. Real change happens when people feel seen, heard, and are able to build something in togetherness because connection is prioritized.
When we bring people together of shared passions and ideologies, we have an opportunity to achieve results much more significantly than any single one of us can accomplish.
Connection means approaching my work in a good way. It's about creating diverse and inclusive spaces for storytelling, shared learning, and accountability. It's about creating knowledge and innovation together.
Acts of connection build trust, and trust is essential for equity and sustainability. When people feel connected, they're more willing to collaborate, share resources, and support fair systems.
Acts of connection are how big movements actually start. Small conversations foster trust, and large partnerships help build on that trust to create meaningful change in communities.
Acts of connection start in our backyard and ripple globally. We must be mindful of those who are most impacted and often least represented when we're building our systems and our policies to ensure that they're most equitable and sustainable.
Acts of connection, small or large, bring people together to create synergy. When we work together our contributions amplify one another. That synergy is what fuels broader movements for equity and sustainability.
Being a global citizen means recognizing that health, equity, and well-being are shared responsibilities. It's about learning from different contexts, working across borders and disciplines, and ensuring knowledge and care are accessible to communities everywhere.
It means to be fiercely courageous, empathetic, and calls us to be good listeners, to enact change not only for ourselves, but for our futures.
Being a global citizen means understanding that our actions locally can create ripple effects globally. So challenges like housing and education and youth opportunity don't stop at borders.
Connection is important for global citizens because it really makes people feel like they're part of something. And in my experience, when we're able to band together and raise our voices, we're able to get a lot done.
Connection is essential to global citizenship because it's the key to linking ideas into action. It's a reminder that our local actions here are deeply linked to global challenges.
Connection matters in global citizenship because it helps you see the world through other people's lives. I have been supported by so many, and that has shaped my responsibility to support others and help more people feel included.
Through my relationships with people from different communities and contexts, I've learned that all of my local actions have global impacts, and that responsibility grows through shared understanding.
I'm constantly inspired by the people in this network who lead with compassion and courage. Being connected to these stories reminds me that we are stronger together and that our voices and our collective impact truly matters.
It is our hope that the stories that we cultivate and we share are enough to inspire upcoming generations of youth to create change and to shape a possibility of what could be.
I have it in my schedule that you're supposed to be up here already.
I thought our MCs had taken a little bit of a break and it was me to come up. So, wow, what a great video. And I had the opportunity to meet some of you last night, and the amount of wisdom that you all have is just blew me away. So thank you again for sharing those snippets with us. And I just want to quickly turn to one of the parts of the program that I personally have been really looking forward to. And this is some remarks from our Secretary of State, Honorable Randeep Sarai. He's the Secretary of State for International Development, who I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago in Ottawa alongside my ICN colleagues. But before I introduce you, Mr. Sarai, I do have to mention that my colleagues and I are truly excited and appreciative of the funding, the support that has been announced this week to different programs. And we are really, really grateful. I know we've been chatting on WhatsApp, and just the opportunity to continue engaging Albertans and Canadians is really something that we don't take for granted. So thank you for that. Mr. Sarai was first elected in 2015 to represent the riding of Surrey Centre in BC. And as I said, he currently serves as Canada's Secretary of State, International Development. He has previously served as the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defence. Mr. Sarai was born in Vancouver, BC. As the son of Sikh immigrant parents from Punjab, India, he completed his undergraduate degree in political science at the University of British Columbia and complemented this with a law degree at Queen's University. After his studies, he began practicing law before transitioning into politics. Throughout his career, he has been deeply focused on supporting initiatives that enhance the quality of life for undeserved communities. So he could have been a top 30 under 30 if he was in this province. His passion for community service is reflected through co-founding VASA, supporting youth strengthening family society, supporting community crime prevention initiatives, raising funds to combat polio, and in helping building a local temple and organizing food drives in his community. Thank you for joining us today, Honorable Sarai. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sarai to the stage. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and bonjour et tout le monde. Happy International Development Week to all of you. Thank you, Sandra, for the very kind introduction. It's actually a really honor to be here as I travel across the country celebrating International Development Week, and it's great to be here with the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation right here in Edmonton, and I'm always happy to see my colleague Heather McPherson, somebody who's extremely passionate on this topic and gives me an earful if I vein even left or right of my mandate ever. So good to be here in your town. And it's especially great as we are coming to celebrate some outstanding young leaders. The Top 30 Under 30 Awards are about more than just recognition. They're about momentum. They signal where global cooperation is headed and who will shape and change it. Tonight's recipients have stepped into leadership at a moment of profound change. The world you're engaging in, which is more connected, more complex, also more fragile than ever before. Climate shocks, conflict, inequality, and economic uncertainty are testing institutions and communities everywhere, and budgets are tightening. As Prime Minister Carney said at Davos, we're in the midst of a rupture. What gives me confidence, though, is that your generation understands something essential. Global challenges do not respect borders, and neither can our solutions. Whether you're working in climate action, gender equality, humanitarian response, Indigenous partnership, or innovative financing, young people bring urgency, innovation, and a clear-eyed view of what needs to change. We know that good intentions are not enough. Results matter, accountability matters, and listening to local partners matters most of all. Development works best when it's driven by communities themselves, supporting strong institutions, and reinforced by long-term partnerships. That's why this year's International Development Week theme is Prosperity Through Partnership, and why organizations like Alberta Council for Global Cooperation are so important. You connect local leadership here in Alberta with global action abroad. You create space for learning, experimentation, and honest reflection about what works and what doesn't. The work of the Top 30 Under 30 honorees already reflect the future of this field, and Canada will continue to invest in the next generation of leaders who bring fresh thinking and renewed energy into their work. In fact, earlier this week, I announced that Canada is committing $36 million for the Intercouncil Network's new Engage program. This will help engage nearly 2 million Canadians, particularly youth and underrepresented communities, to raise awareness of global issues and the impact that investments in international development can have, and inspire more Canadians to become involved in global issues that impact us here at home. I also announced a new $10 million project with the Manitoba Council for International Cooperation called Canada Lifts. This new program is about unlocking the power of Canadian communities and who already have deep ties, trusted relationships, and ideas for real solutions in countries around the world. The federal government will match donations from Canadians towards impactful, small-scale, locally rooted initiatives, doubling their impacts. This is about initiatives like Khaled just mentioned, about clinics in Somalia. It could mean more about doing an eye camp in Pakistan. And I also learned something very intuitive from him in that he was actually smart enough to subscribe to FIT. This is a common theme that I see over and over again, and I'm sure my colleague Heather McPherson hears it all the time. Canada Summer Jobs, when is it? Oh, it's already passed. Oh my God, I didn't know. Well, if you subscribe to our Instagram account or our Facebook accounts, you would have known that it's coming up front. So I really urge young leaders, those that are here trying to make a difference, stay connected with one another, stay connected with organizations like the Alberta Global Council. These are very important because that's how you'll learn about the funding. You'll learn about the programs that are launched. And with them, we get the great ideas and you become the leaders of tomorrow. So it's extremely important to always stay connected because this is how we can. This project, by the way, is it's a passion project for me. It's one of my own initiatives. And what I want to do is those that have projects that don't require capital buildings can raise as little as $5,000 and we can match it with $25,000. So you can have an eye camp in a rural or remote area, removing cataracts and helping people alleviate blindness. But it can do anything. It's a very vast array of projects. And if you go to the larger ones where you want to build a health clinic for young women or for sexual reproductive rights or a school for underprivileged girls, we can match up to $600,000. So it's a very broad program. Details will come out in the spring, and I think the intake will be at that time, and hopefully we'll be able to do some announcements in the summer or fall. The passion Canadians have is definitely reflected in the room today. Today we celebrate the achievements of the 30 under 30 winners, but we also celebrate your potential. You remind us that leadership is not always about waiting for your turn. It's about stepping forward with purpose and conviction. The power to make the world a better place. Once again, I want to congratulate all the award recipients today. The future of global cooperation may have challenges, but with leaders like you, it's all full of possibility. So thank you and merci beaucoup.
Mr. Sarai, it was truly a privilege having you join us today to celebrate Canada's future leaders. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. Can I ask you to please join us on stage again, along with Sandra and Councillor Paquette, please. Okay, everyone, we know you've all been patiently waiting for this moment, and it's here. We are ready to announce the names of the 2026 top 30 under 30s. So we will begin by calling each of the top 30s one by one to receive their award. And so if you could come up from the stairs on the left side right here. And after you've received your award, if you could please exit on the right side and go back to your seat. And we kindly ask that all our guests remain seated. If you do want to take photos, please do not obstruct the view of the stage.
Well, before we begin calling the names, we want to take a moment to recognize and thank the artists who developed this year's logo artwork and top 30 portraits. Jimmy Ugre and Mayada Rahal. We encourage you to read about the inspiration behind their designs on the Top 30 Under 30 website. And now, let's begin with our first Top 30 Under 30, a former colleague and friend of mine, Ahmed Baker. We'll just alternate.
Next up, Alejandro Figueroa.
Next up, Amin Alizada.
Okay, next up, Arib Qayyum.
Next up, another friend and colleague, Brianna Snow.
Avery Q-Step.
Next up, Bethel Abram.
Next up, Hussein Syed Mohammed.
Next up, Inara Ibrahim.
Next up, Jean-Bruce Koya.
Next up, Josephine Cui Lozelle.
Next up, Joshua Borja.
Next up, Joshua Hanks.
And next up, Cameron Shakur.
Next up, Kareem Sadet.
Next up, Marilyn Birch Harvey.
Naomi Bacana.
Next up, Nathan Barrett.
Nazafa Rahman.
Naisha Gutha.
Precious Majikodunme.
Next up, Renan Lim.
Go other way. Yeah, we'll just swap it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've changed the script. How many times? Prosper Komo Lafa.
Next up, Rochelle Mission Della Loria.
Next, we have Shafak Batul.
Shiza Hirani.
Sophia Young.
Tracy Din.
Tierra Marchand.
And last but not least, Vidi Desai.
All right, let's give one more big round of applause to the 2026 Top 30 Under 30. We encourage each of you to explore the full profiles of the 2026 Top 30 Under 30 on the Top 30 Under 30 webpage. Congratulations to all of you. It has been a pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon, and we wish you great success moving forward.
Thank you all for having us as your hosts today, and it is now time for Benjamin and I to leave you. But before we do, I will ask you, Sandra, to give a few closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone. I'll make this very quick because I know we are all anxious to congratulate the top 30s. It is a community that gives back, whether hosting a celebration event or sitting on one of our selection committee or coming out to cheer the new top 30s. So your job is not done. We expect to see you here again next year doing something. So thank you to our wonderful MCs for this year. Can we please hear it for Haveen and Benjamin for such a wonderful program? On behalf of AGC, again, thank you Global Affairs Canada for supporting this program, not just these awards, but many other programs that we run at ACGC that do enable us to engage with Canadians. We would not be able to do this without that support. Thank you, Honorable Sarai, Aaron Paquette for coming on such short notice. Thank you. MP Heather McPherson, thank you again for taking your time, all three of you, this weekend to be here with us and for your remarks. Caleb, thank you for a wonderful speech. And to our wonderful panelists, it was so inspiring to listen to you. Very quickly, the staff at Fort Edmonton, I saw some of them cheering the top 30 under 30 right at the back. Thank you for being so engaged and for your hospitality and expertise. Our volunteers, Jimmy and Mayada, our artists who designed the logo and all of that. Nada, our busy photographer. The Northern Cree for their stunning performance. If you weren't here at the start of the program, you missed a really great performance by the Northern Cree band, so thank you. And of course, to our guests who've joined us in person today and virtually, thank you for coming out and for tuning in as well. And I do want to recognize a really special group of people that have worked really hard planning for this event under the leadership of Wedged Halabi. Can you just wave to everyone? Wedged, she's our education and youth engagement lead, and she's the one who's been kind of hustling the top 30 and the 30 to get their things in. So thank you for putting all your heart and soul to plan this stellar event. Last but not least, to the top 30s, may you continue to work towards creating a world without barriers and a world for all. We're so proud of what you've accomplished so far, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to do next. So welcome to the ACGC network. A round of applause for it. Thank you. I'll invite all the top 30s. The reason I asked Sarai and Mr. Paquette to stay up here was because it's an opportunity for you to come up and take a group photo with them. So if you could just all come to the stage for a group photo. And for our guests, you can feel free to we do have some refreshments. You'll be directed as you leave where to go. So please make your way and join us for a little bit more engagement. So thank you so much.